Everyone knows about the successes of Emperor Tiber Septim and the establishment of the Third Empire in the Third Era of Tamriel. With the many stories about his travels, his conquests, and expansions of the empire, he is highly revered throughout all of Tamriel and probably known as one of the most powerful generals and leaders of the age. However, not many, except for maybe the deepest lore delvers, know about an unofficial emperor that existed before Tiber Septim himself. I'll be honest, I had no idea about this either until I came across it while I was going through the lore of the games, so I had to read more about it. Who exactly was Emperor Zero, and what was his connection, if any, to Tiber Septim that allowed him to be labeled as Emperor Zero, the Emperor of Tamriel before the Empire and the title of Emperor of Tamriel were established in the Third Era? We will take a look at this as we take a look at the lore of Cuchelain, Tamriel's Emperor Zero. And my apologies, I don't actually know how to pronounce his name, so I'm going to be going with that pronunciation in this video. If there is a way to pronounce it better, please let me know in the comment section below so I know about it. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope you are having a great day or night and ready for some more Elder Scrolls videos. I am taking a short break from the Imperial and Stormcloak storyline to cover some lore in Tamriel's past. So if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave it a like as it helps get the videos out to a bigger audience, as well as comment to any thoughts and ideas you have for future videos, or this one in particular, and subscribe so you are in the loop for future videos. Cuchelain was a being that was born in the late Second Era of Tamriel in the Colovian estate, which comprised of cities on Western Cyrodiil, which is a reason they were sometimes known as the Western Cyrodiilics. At the time, it also comprised of parts of southern Skyrim, which included Falkreath. While nothing is noted about his childhood, he eventually grew to become a petty king, but secured the throne of Falkreath at some point during his adulthood. He had ambitions of conquering and unifying the province of Tamriel as a massive opportunity as it was in a state of turmoil, with the death of Riemann Cyrodiil and the fall of the Aletian Order providing opportunities for invaders, particularly from Skyrim and High Rock, to conquer the diminishing empires. Things get interesting here because Cuchelain had one major advantage, which was his appointed general Hjalti Earlybeard. His advantage was the power of the Thu'um, which was used to great effect. During their conquest, they embarked on many battles and skirmishes, but we will be taking a closer look at two of them. The first one was at the Battle of Old Hdan, where the Colovian troops under Cuchelain and General Hjalti's forces sieged the city against the defending Reachmen, who were looking to oust them before their conquest had expanded further, leading to a Colovian victory after Hjalti used the Thu'um to bring down the walls of the old settlement. It was after this battle that he had acquired the name of Talos, meaning storm-crowned by the Nordic troops. The second battle, once again led under Talos' forces of Nords and Bretons, they successfully captured Sancrator, a mighty fortress in the Gerald Mountains of Colovia that served as an important and defensive location for the Cyrodiilic dynasty, which had been successfully captured by the Nord and Breton forces. Seeing its inconvenient location in the eventual establishment of the empire, Talos had abandoned it, but not before securing a key item that would define his rule for years to come, the Amulet of Kings. This battle turned the tide for the Nord and Breton's forces as soon as they set their sights on the Imperial city, and after defeating the battle mages that gave relatively little resistance, the Imperial city was sacked merely 2 years after the victories at Old Hdan and Sancrator. When Cuchelain was about to crown himself emperor, however, he was assassinated by a Nightblade from High Rock. Now, this had caused controversy because of the circumstances. While it's easy to say that an opposing force had hired this assassin to prevent the crowning of Cuchelain, there is also belief that this was a plan staged by Talos to secure the throne and blame his enemies. Incidentally, Talos himself was also targeted, with his throat being slit, not to the point where it killed him, but he did lose the ability to shout as a consequence. Regardless, Talos took the crown of Cuchelain and crowned himself Emperor Tiber Septim, and began the Septim Dynasty of Dragonborn Emperors, ushering in the Third Era of Tamriel. Now, of course, one might think that the story of Cuchelain is over. Well, not quite. See, despite his passing, Tiber Septim continued his legacy by establishing the cult of Emperor Zero, which had become one of the most popular cults in Nibelheim 10 years after his death. This was established to commemorate his wisdom and bravery during his conquests throughout Colovia, Skyrim, and Cyrodiil. There were likely temples and shrines created in his worship, with one of them located south of Breville that had one inhabitant, Bathus Aren. But one might wonder what the case might be if Cuchelain had actually taken the throne of Cyrodiil, and to see if Tiber Septim would just stand by and let him have it, or if he would actually plot to take the throne from Cuchelain himself after his establishment. An aspect of Emperor Zero was even shaped in the Imperial Palace gardens as to provide advice for Tiber Septim, similar to previous emperors whose aspects were placed there, which is ironic since technically Cuchelain was never an emperor of Cyrodiil. Honestly, while I was reading through the fandoms, I came across Emperor Zero and I thought it was a pretty cool title, so I had to read more into it, and it led me to one of the more interesting and possibly controversial characters in Elder Scrolls history, mostly because of how much his story ties with one of the most prominent beings in Elder Scrolls. As always, leave a like on this video if you enjoyed, consider subscribing if you want to see more Elder Scrolls content, and other than that, this is Enzo signing out, and I will see you all in the next lore video.